if I told you that low confidence is not the reason as to why you're feeling stuck, you're constantly overthinking, you're playing it safe, and you feel like an imposter in every single room that you enter into? You've tried stepping out of your comfort zone because that is the advice that you get if you're struggling with low confidence. You've tried to put yourself out there. You've tried to make yourself uncomfortable, but yet you still struggle to feel like you belong in those rooms. Your confidence is constantly fluctuating, and you're just at a point where you're just feeling so frustrated because you just don't know why you can't just get to a place where your confidence is just stable. What if I was to tell you that confidence was never the issue, but the answer to your frustration is self-esteem? You've been working on building your confidence when you should have been working on building your self-esteem. Hey, I'm Judith and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm a confidence and self-esteem coach, and I am on a mission to help high-achieving women to build lasting confidence through restoring their self-worth. If that sounds like you, then welcome to this channel, because this is the right place for you. Although confidence and self-esteem are often used interchangeably, the two are quite different. Confidence refers to your faith in your ability to do something, whereas self-esteem is about your self-worth. It's about the value that you place on yourself. A person can have confidence in something, but still have low self-esteem. And this is usually the case for many high-achieving women. They're very confident and competent in a particular area of their life. So for example, you may have someone who is an amazing teacher. They're amazing at putting together resources for their classroom, putting together a lesson plan and being able to teach this. They have confidence in their ability to teach. But if you were to take away that skill of teaching, perhaps the way that they see themselves may not be great. Maybe their perspective of themselves may be quite negative. They may see themselves as not worthy without that ability to teach. And that is where self-esteem comes in. A lot of women have confidence. I believe we all have confidence, because essentially confidence is just your belief in your skill to do something. It's about ability, and we're all skilled in one area or another. But self-esteem is about your sense of worth. It's about the value that you place on yourself. This is the part that many people tend to ignore, because they feel that if I work on the confidence, then it should help with the self-esteem. Now, to a degree, working on your confidence can have a positive impact on your self-esteem. But just working on your confidence alone and ignoring your self-worth can often result in you feeling like an imposter. Working on your confidence will allow you to get into certain rooms. Working on your confidence and stepping out your comfort zone may help you to get that promotion. But then what happens once you get that promotion? And often what tends to happen is, if you don't do the work on your self-esteem, once you get that promotion, once you get into that room, you will feel like an imposter. You will constantly be on the lookout, waiting for the day that people will find out that you're not actually as good as you make out to be. And this is why your aim should never just be to build confidence, but you need to also work on the self-esteem. Because working on your confidence alone will result in a temporary relief. Working on your confidence alone results in your confidence constantly fluctuating. Because when you just work on your confidence alone, your self-worth is then tied to your achievement. And what happens when you're in a season where you feel like you're not achieving much? Those are the seasons where people tend to become triggered. Those are the seasons where people start to question their worth, question their value, because all they've done is work on their confidence, is work on their skills to do something. But if you're in a season where that skill is no longer needed, what then happens to your sense of worth? And this is why the aim should not just be to build confidence, but your aim should also be to build healthy self-esteem. Now, notice that I said healthy self-esteem and not high self-esteem, because high self-esteem is about arrogance. When someone has really high self-esteem, they struggle to recognize their weaknesses. They just think that everything is great. They just think that everything's amazing. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for you believing that you are the creme de la creme, because you are. You are worthy, you are skilled, you are valuable. However, just focusing on your strengths alone can also result in you limiting yourself. It can result in you saying no to opportunities simply because you feel like you're not qualified enough for them. But what if that area that you deem as a weakness is what would actually qualify you to get that position, to get through that door? But that's a conversation for another day. Today, we're talking about self-esteem. Specifically, how can you actually build healthy self-esteem? When someone has healthy self-esteem, not only do they recognize their strengths, but they're also aware of their weaknesses and they're willing to improve in those areas. They don't see it as something to limit them, but they see it as something to work on. So how do we actually get to a place of building healthy self-esteem? Well, I'm glad that you asked, because this is something that I help the ladies that I work with to achieve. And the way that I do this is through my 3U framework: understand, uproot, and unveil. And we're going to go through each of those steps together. So get your notebook and your pen, because class is in session now. Okay, so the first U, understand. Before you can embark on the journey of building healthy self-esteem, you need to actually understand and be aware of how low self-esteem shows up for you. Now, low self-esteem often shows up in our thought patterns. So this is where we need to take some time. We need to slow down for a moment and really start to notice how we think in situations that make us feel uncomfortable. Take, for example, your boss has just asked you to deliver a presentation at the next team meeting. And you're someone you're amazing at your job, but when it comes to public speaking, that is something that you don't enjoy. In that moment, what are the thoughts that start going through your mind? Before you even think about saying no, what did that request trigger in your mind? Did it trigger the belief of not being good enough, of not being a good speaker, of not being capable, of not being competent, of worrying that you're going to stutter, of worrying that you're going to mess up? What are the thoughts that led to you potentially saying no? Or that lead to you over preparing, worrying, sleepless nights? What is going through your mind? It's important that we become aware and actually understand what is going through our mind, because our beliefs influence our behavior. If you go into something believing that you're not good at it, the result is you're not going to perform very well. So if you're on a journey to building healthy self-esteem, take some time to actually understand your thinking patterns, especially when you are faced with an opportunity that makes you feel uncomfortable. Start to question yourself. When you say no to opportunities that make you feel uncomfortable, that no didn't just come out of thin air. It was triggered by something. Identify what those triggers are. And the way to do that is to question yourself. One of the things that I like to tell my clients is check for ID. When a thought comes into your mind, when that belief that you're not good enough shows up, question it. Where does it come from? Why do I think I'm not good enough for this? Why do I believe that I'm going to stutter? Have I stuttered before? And if I have stuttered in the past, what actually happened? What was the outcome? Question your thoughts. Don't just take each thought that comes at face value, because that is the reason why you still have low self-esteem, because you're not aware of many of the core beliefs that are maintaining the low self-esteem. So start to question your thought patterns. Start to question the things that come to mind whenever you are faced with an opportunity that makes you feel uncomfortable. By doing that, you will be able to uncover the core beliefs that are maintaining the low self-esteem. Your core beliefs, they're deeply rooted beliefs that impact how we see the world, how we see ourselves, and how we see other people. And the core beliefs that maintain low self-esteem tend to be the negative core beliefs, that I'm not good enough, I'm useless, I'm not competent. Those beliefs, they're usually the beliefs that come after the phrase, I am. Those negative adjectives that we use to describe ourselves. Those are usually negative and unhelpful core beliefs that we hold about ourselves. But whether you're aware of them or not, it doesn't matter. They will still influence you. Core beliefs don't need you to recognize them for them to impact you. They're silent killers and influence your behavior, resulting in you self-sabotaging opportunities that you've been praying for. And this is why it's so important to start to question your thinking pattern so that you can uncover the hidden negative core beliefs or unhelpful core beliefs that you hold about yourself, about other people, and about the world. Because that is what's limiting you. That is what is holding you back. Just a disclaimer. When you start to uncover these thinking patterns, when you start to uncover these negative core beliefs, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel very exposing. Try not to rush through that process. Seeing that you have these negative beliefs about yourself doesn't always feel good. And because it doesn't feel good, we usually want to rush through, but don't. Sit with that discomfort for a moment. Sit with those beliefs that you uncover for a moment. Because as uncomfortable as they are, they're telling a story. So don't just rush through it. Sit with it for a moment. Notice it. Recognize when it shows up. Because the only way you can start to deal with those core beliefs is if you're aware of them in the first place. We can't deal with anything unless we have awareness. So that is the first step to building healthy self-esteem. Understand your thought patterns. We're going to tackle the next step, which is uprooting, in the next video. So don't forget to subscribe so that you can be notified of when the next video is out. But if you can't wait until the next video, don't worry, I got you. In the description bar below, you will find a link to my free ebook, 3 Simple Ways of Overcoming Low Self-Esteem, where you can find more information about the rest of the steps to overcoming low self-esteem.